We like to put the headphones on,
Yeah.
like before the big game, and listen to the music.
Yeah.
What the f did you do when the headphones come off, bro? It's you in your own mind.
There was a 20-year study done at Harvard. It said that your physical health is determined more by your relationships than the food you eat, the exercise program you're on, or the genes that you have inherited.
Whether we like it or not, the people around us are affecting how we see ourselves and how we wish to be seen. I think it's everyone we come into contact with that gives us the icing, that gives us the shape, that gives us the dynamic texture that makes us who we are, you know? And so I strangely enough, I feel like it's all of these people that I was lucky enough or unlucky enough to bump into that gave me a little bit of that texture and shape. And I think that's the same for everyone, you know? And that's probably why I'm so conscious of choosing my friends, because I think that's me actively choosing the people who are going to keep shaping me as I live my life.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's one of your top
It is.
three pieces.
Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. You want to know why you're all up? Just look at the bums you hang around with.
Who are you hanging out with? Do they make you feel good and motivated, or drained and maybe a little sick? Listen, if you want to catch the flu, what do? You hang out with somebody with the flu. Well, if you want to catch a happy, optimistic attitude about life, then you got to hang around people with happy, optimistic attitudes about life so you can catch it. Who are you hanging out with? Who are your best friends? You want to know the definition of a best friend? It should be someone who brings the best out of you.
You've got to upgrade your friends. It ain't nothing bad. You just got to upgrade people in your life. But if you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. You cannot be the go-to person in the group.
How do you define a bad friend? Like, how do you know? How do you spot one?
I don't think you spot them. I think you feel it, you know? And I think it's a lot easier for us to spot than we think it is. One of the easiest ones is, can you be yourself? You know, and sometimes they're not a bad friend. They're a bad friend for you because you are not revealing yourself to them. And so they are being friends with the idea of you, but they're not being friends with you. And what I learned very early on was like the value of good friendships.
Here's how you know if someone's your friend. A, you can tell them bad news and they'll listen. They won't tell you why, you know, you're stupid and why that bad thing happened to you and how something worse happened to them once and, you know, derail the whole conversation. You can actually tell them bad news and they'll listen. So that's a good thing. And then this is a weirder thing. You can tell them good news and they'll help you celebrate. And that's a really good way of deciding who you should have around you, because if you have someone around you, you know, something good happens to you and you're kind of afraid to even admit it because, you know, God, something good happened to you. It's like, you let that be known and it'll certainly be taken away. So, you know, you come out and you sort of tell someone half-heartedly that something good happened to you and they give you a whack and then talk about, you know, the great thing that happened to them 3 years ago, or worse, the great thing that happened to someone that they knew 3 years ago.
I shut out a lot of noise. I only have people in my life that need to be there. If you don't need to be in my life, I'm not about acquiring more friends. I'm not about noise. I'm about, okay, are you trying to go somewhere? You can jump on board. If not, I don't want to hear all your problems. Do you have a solution for your problem? That's what I'm all about right now. As you're trying to fix yourself and dig yourself out of this deep hole that life, society, and you helped also. Those people who you saw down there in that hole who were there with you, who were your friends and people who you counted on, because you meet the people in the same situation that you're in life. Those people become your friends. And the second you try to get out of that situation and become better, those people are in that grave, in that dungeon, just yanking at your heels, man, saying, get the fuck back. Oh, no, come on back here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna make me feel like you getting out of this hole.
And failure validates their own cowardice. Right? So when you go out and you try the business and the thing and you fail, they're like, whew, I don't look like an idiot for not trying myself. See, Jim over here, he failed. So I don't have to try. That's why I can live this miserable job that I'm afraid to quit or whatever.
It's necessary that you get the energy drainers out of your life. People who don't want anything, people who are not striving, people who are not challenging themselves, people who aren't growing, people who have stopped dreaming.
Like, go away from that person. They're not helpful to you. and they're not helpful to themselves either. And so you want to surround yourself, you got to think about this. You got to surround yourself with people who want the best for the best part of you. You can hang around with weasels and losers that are trying to pull you down to justify the fact that they're spiraling downhill as well. And you know, the upside of that is you don't have to have any responsibility, and you can all whine about how wretched life is, you know, so that's pretty attractive. But I would say it's also a bad medium to long-term plan. And so it's acceptable and desirable to try to surround yourself with people who are facilitating your development. You know, and you might say, well, I've got people around, I know them well, you know, they're not doing that well, and they don't fit into that category. It's like, what's your point? What are you going to do with them exactly? If they'll listen and cooperate with you and move towards a better future, great. If they don't pay any attention and they keep doing the same damn things over and over and they're not going anywhere and it's painful, then maybe the proper thing to do is say, you just have your misery. I'll go off and have my life. And maybe you'll wake up at some point in the future and think that's a better way of being. Because just putting up with it is, well, they call that enabling, right? You put up with that sort of behavior, you're providing tacit consent for it and even tacit approval. It's like, it's a bad idea. You have, I would say, both the right and the responsibility to surround yourself with people who are good for the best part of you.
It's necessary that you align yourself with people and attract people into your business who are hungry, people who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more.
I really appreciated the people who would come into my life and what they would teach me, and you know what they would remind me of myself, which is like an important thing to me. I think fundamentally that's what great friendship is somebody who sees a part of you that you wish to grow more of, and then every time you're meeting with them, they're encouraging it and they're reminding you of it.
Friendship means I could do 1,000 things for someone and they do nothing for me, but I walk around with the absolute confidence that the one day that I need something, I know without a shadow of a doubt they'll be there. It's not an equation and it's not a transaction, it's a feeling. And the way you get that feeling is with investing. You invest in that friendship and you build the confidence that they'll be there for you. And if you don't have the confidence, I strongly suggest you have a very uncomfortable conversation with your friend.
A friend of mine actually said to me on a trip recently, she said, in successful spaces, oftentimes people will use the word sacrifice. You know, we heard many people, we heard Martin, we had so many people up on the stage saying sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. And she said one of the most powerful things ever to me. She said, when we say we've sacrificed something for our career, we shouldn't be afraid to put a name to who that sacrifice was, because oftentimes it was the people in our lives that we call friends.
Yeah.
What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to forgo?